Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are doing Hot and Cold. This is a video series I like to do where I talk about the best and worst music over the past week, the hot being the best, the worst being the cold, and some middle of the road tracks as well. This episode we are talking about songs that were released between May 10th and 16th, 2020. As per usual, the songs will be linked down below in the description. You want to check out any of the songs, they'll be there. Also, don't forget to send your recommendations for new songs for me to check out, give my thoughts, share my opinions, you know the drill. First up, Hot Tracks, Best of the Week, we have Katy Perry with her single, Daisies. New album coming from her in August. This is the lead single. I adore the guitar strumming, the melodies are pretty good, and the emphatic shouting, I can't get enough of it. Daisies, daisies, daisies! Lyrically, what's going for it though too is it's pretty empowering, like most of Katy's singles, especially Firework. Moving on from there, we have Summer Feelings by Lennon, Stella featuring Charlie Puth. This is from the Scoob, the album soundtrack. And while listening to this song in particular, I know it's by Lennon, Stella, but she's easily the most underwhelming part about it. I think Charlie Puth kind of stole the spotlight from her while she's kind of just stuck between sounding like Billie Eilish and Alessia Cara. That being said, the groove is infectious and the production is immaculate, so that makes up for the shortcomings. Moving on, Try by Neil Young. This is an unreleased yet previously performed song. We're going into the back catalog. We're going all the way back into the 70s for this one. But this song has never officially made its release. It will be coming out on the Homegrown album, which is set to drop next month. It's faced a lot of delays. It should be good though, because Neil Young, he was in his prime back then, back when he recorded this. Either way, he's always been one of the most influential rock and folk artists out there. I'm trying to think of a New Day comparison for this new song. It's kind of like a Mac DeMarco cut, especially from like Here Comes the Cowboy. So if you like a slow and mundane build to a track, Try by Neil Young is for you. Next up, we have Magic by slowthai and Kenny Beats. This is a certified banger. I was not prepared for how hard this song goes. Two guys just killing it in the game right now. Who else is killing it? We have another pair of Brockhampton singles that dropped last week. This release cycle is now being known as the Technical Difficulties Quarantine Series, obviously because of the lower production quality, as the tags say that at the beginning of most of these tracks. New album possibly in the works, might already be finished. We're just waiting for RCA Records to greenlight it. Anyways, these songs here, first up, Mob, it's pretty good. Kevin Abstract, he sounds like Kanye. And the other track that we get, Twisted, it's pretty good too. I especially like the Christian Alexander feature on there. And lastly, for Hot Tracks this week, we have Excitement by Trippie Redd and PARTYNEXTDOOR. This is a collaboration between a couple artists who have arguably been putting out some of their most lackluster material of late, but this might be a step in the right direction, get them back on track. The tune, thankfully, isn't lost on me. The production gives both artists enough space to do their thing, and I can't stress this last point enough. It's not a phoned-in, bland, alt R&B cut. Thank God. Moving on to the middle of the road tracks this week. These are okay, not amazing, not terrible. First up, we have Guys by the 1975. This is another single. What is this, like the 7th or 8th one that we've gotten for this album cycle? And what can I say about it? It's a pretty straightforward Britpop tune. It's all right. I don't really want to spoil too much my thoughts because the record is coming out next week. I think we can wait one more week. Just know it's on the middle of the road for this week at least. Moving on from there, we have a new single from Future featuring YoungBoy, Never Broke Again. This is called Trillionaire. I love the chemistry between the artists and how they exchange bars. Kind of reminds me of D4L from the new Drake mixtape, but sadly, not as much of a banger here. More often than not, it's not a banger. It should be a banger. Come on, Future, where's the banger? Oh, God. All right, moving on. Enemy by slowthai. Great lyricism on this track, but it's pretty one-note, one-dimensional with its performance. The flows aren't as variable or as pleasing to the ear as I would have hoped. And we also got a Caribou song last week. It's a quartet remix of Never Come Back. Apparently these two artists have been longtime friends. I like the wacky synthesizers that only seem to get weirder throughout the track's expanded runtime. It's just really long and arduous to get through. Now, wrapping up this week with the cold tracks, the worst I heard. We have a lot to get through, unfortunately. Just this week wasn't all that great, in my opinion. First up, Love Somebody by Kygo and One Republic. The lyrics on here pander like some typical heartbreak story. Please get this thing away from me. I haven't heard something so insipid and just dry and flavorless and I don't even know what you call this. Is this pop? Is this dance? Is it a crossover? Kygo, One Republic. Ugh. Moving on from there, though, we have Migos with Racks Too Skinny. I should have realized last week that my praise for Migos was going to be short-lived. Because, yeah, this is trash. The lyrics, they don't mean anything. I don't know why I'm whispering. Let's just stop that now. The flows are so basic on here. They're usually in triplets. Just move on. Two singles came out from the Jonas Brothers last week. First up, X. This one features Carol G. This is a Latin pop crossover. I never want to hear Jonas Brothers do this thing again. They're really trying hard to make this crossover hit. And don't get me wrong, I'm okay with singles that try to appeal to the masses. It's just, if you water down your sound to this, Houston, we have a problem. And the other track from the Jonas Brothers, if that wasn't bad enough, this one is entitled 5 More Minutes. Frankly, I don't even want to talk about them longer than the minute or so I'm giving them in this video, but if I could share some candid advice with the bros in order to get them that attention they desperately desire from the women in their bed, I would say something like this. Maybe write a song that's better and is actually 5 minutes long? Or I don't know, do something else in bed that will probably take you the same amount of time or less. Either way, don't want to hear it, don't want to see it, don't want any part of it. Let's keep going. What might be worse this week? And yes, I know I'm purposely putting worse and worse tracks on here as we go. Next up, we have Drake's song by the Saturday Night Live cast and Pete Davidson. This is meant to be a parody of Drake, I guess, but it doesn't even sound like Drake. It's garish, it's ungodly, it sounds more like world music or something like what Lil Dicky would do. And cool, if it were humorous, I'd be on board. Like, it's fun to tease Drake every now and then, especially with how insecure he comes off in his music, but isn't his new music already speaking enough for itself? Like, look at his new mixtape, look at his latest LP. Those are reminders of what you can be teasing, not what this song is pushing. I seriously think Saturday Night Live missed the mark on this one by a mile. And what could possibly be worse than that? The worst track, in my opinion, this week, it goes to Thomas Rhett and Kane Brown featuring Ava Max on their song On Me. Again, this is from the Scoob the album soundtrack. I'm just embarrassed that Ava Max had anything to do with this. One of the worst songs this year. So unlistenable. Soundtrack or not, this is just inexcusable. Anyways, there's Hot and Cold for this week. Make sure you sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of these songs, if you're going to check them out or not. Thanks for watching. Leave a like. Subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that. As always, have a rockin' day.